How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Now, Tam, let the fans know. Grew up in England. Whereabouts?
Grew up in a place called Rugby where we played with a different shaped ball.
I bet you did.
So yeah, and then obviously took up soccer or football as we call it over there, and never looked back.
I got it. And a supporter of Aston Villa growing up. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. That was my preferred team at the time, and yeah, I'm obviously disappointed to see them not reaching the heights they did when I was younger. But I still follow them and still consider them to be my team.
Tam, of course, you're one of the defenders for the Rowdies. Let's talk about a little bit about your expectations. Of course, you're the big man on top, one of the center backs, and I know you can make some runs out of the back. What are your expectations for this season? You've been in preseason training camp. How do you see the team shaping up as we get ready for this 2018 season?
I think, we've obviously got to try and build on last season. We reached the playoffs, and we want to win, obviously, the Eastern Conference at least, and we want, our aim is to try and win the whole thing. So ultimately, we want to be champions of the USL. I don't think there's any shame in admitting that. The squad's looking very good. We've got some great new younger additions, and I'm excited.
Tam, tell me this. Growing up, obviously, Joe Cole's a little bit older than you. It had to be somebody you knew and watched and appreciated, and now you play with him.
Yeah, it's honestly a great honor to play with Joe, to be honest. When we were in the academy, I started at West Brom, so he was a kid who, you always heard about. It was Joe Cole this, Joe Cole that. They've this, young prodigy at West Ham. And he was unbelievable. He's still an unbelievable player now. So to actually get on the same field as him and train with him every day is quite honestly, a humbling experience.
Yeah, definitely somebody you looked up to as you were, going through the youth academy system, and now, before you know it, you're sharing the same pitch, the professional ranks, and you get to wake up every morning, go to work against pretty much a legend, a guy who's pretty much done it all, and just a great guy as well. Just very simple, very easily to approach. So it's just great to see somebody, a great ambassador for the game here in the U.S. now, but just a great teammate as well.
Yeah, he's obviously reached the highest heights. He's played in the World Cup. He's talking Champions League, played with top players. So to be alongside someone like that, in the locker room as well as on the field, there's so much you can learn from him. And as you say, he's such a humble guy. Always got time for you. So I can't say anything bad about him.
And you were trying to get were at a course getting your FA badge, and he was there also last year during the summer, I believe.
Yeah, he was there as well. So yeah, I think he's destined for management at some point. I think he'll be a very good leader, and as he is now, and sharing his knowledge with a team that was very valuable.
That's a great point that you bring up, Tam. Let's talk about a little bit about his leadership on and off the field, what he can do in the locker room. I know big-time players like that. I got a chance to play with Richard Goff and Mo Johnson's great Scottish internationals. They, as you mentioned, have played in World Cups and captain of Rangers and teams of that nature matter. How is it about him being a leader in the locker room?
He's not somebody who's who the lads are scared to approach. He's a very approachable guy, as you fellas know, and as I said, he can't do enough for you. So with all his experience, he's somebody who'll talk to you every day, put his arm on your shoulder, and people just gravitate towards him.
Well, as we get ready for the national anthem, both teams come out.
If you're wondering why the national anthem of both, we have the Montreal Impact versus New York City FC. We were talking about a superstar, Joe Cole. I'm Charlie Slagle, Eddie Rodriguez, and Tam McKendawiri is here from the Rowdies. You've got two on these two teams. David Villa on New York City, and then you've got Ignacio Piatti, who broke the Rowdies' hearts last week with a very calm goal. Talk about even getting on the field with some of those kind of guys.
It's obviously, as a professional, you know, you want to pit yourself against the best, and we're talking two of the, certainly David Villa, best in the world. So he's a very high caliber player, as is Piatti. Piatti, very, as you said, calm and a very technical player who likes to come inside and get on the ball, and he really gets this Montreal team ticking. Everything kind of goes through him. They look to him. He's kind of their talisman, as is David Villa for New York. So I'm very excited to see both live in action.
Eddie, we had him use talisman. We really like that. That's big time. I don't think you and I could have used that.
Absolutely. As both teams get ready, NYFC against the Montreal Impact. Victor Vasquez is your middle referee, Benjamin Wooden and Elvis Osmawick in the outside. Of course, both teams getting ready. And as Tam mentioned, you know, playing with those superstars, you know, they've done it a lot. They're playing World Cups. You know, now they get here to the MLS and, of course, now in the USL as well. And it's just great now to have, you know, players like that to join your team. And, of course, they bring that extra element of experience to the pitch for both teams.
And Eddie, for New York FC, who we've not seen, New York City FC, in goal, Sean Johnson, who has played there a lot for them since he's been with them. Anton Tinnerholm as a defender, Maxime Chanat, and then Alexander Callens, Ronald Matarrita. And then in the midfield, you got Alex Ring, Maxi Morales, Jesus Medina, Yango Herrera, and up top, David Villa, who we were just talking about, and Rodney Wallace. Rodney Wallace has 23 goals, MLS goals in his career, Costa Rican national team player.
Now on the other side, goalkeeper, we have Evan Bush, kind of the same lineup as last week. Petrasso, the defender, Victor Cabrera, Diallo, Raytala, Edwards, Raheem Edwards, Safir Tater, Samuel P.T., and then the only addition to this week's starting lineup, Ken Krolicki, a graduate of Michigan State University, picked up in the Super Draft. Ignacio Piatti, we talked about him, the captain, and of course, Matteo Mancuso up front. Once again, the 2018 Tampa Bay Rowdies Suncoast Invitational. I'm your host, Eddie Rodriguez, with Charlie Slagle and Tam McKendawiri from the Rowdies. We are in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida, of this first game of a doubleheader in this preseason tournament, hosted by the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Charlie, your expectations for both teams? We know we're a week away from MLS starting.
We are, yeah, you're exactly right. We're 1 week away, and let's make sure everyone knows in white is Montreal, and in light blue is New York City FC. I think both these teams are going to play their starters for quite a long period of time. Last week against the Rowdies, Montreal played 4 or 5 of their players all 90 minutes, as opposed to the first game we had last week, where most of the players left after about 60 minutes. So it's going to be a good battle, because they both open the regular season next week, and you can't afford to give up any points anytime during a season, even though it's a long one.
And early now, the Montreal Impact with a shot by Ignacio Piatti. The Argentine gets a volley inside the 18, right outside. Early cross, they knock early on the door. Of course, we got a chance to watch the Montreal Impact here last week. You know, a team that likes to go forward, a team that likes to build out of the back, playing with a 4-4-2. They changed a little bit in the second half, but as Charlie mentioned, we expect both sides to go a little bit more traditional as they're getting ready for next week's MLS starting week. A lot less substitutions. Tam, for you, we always talked about how important, the importance of the first 5 minutes of each half. When you start the game, what goes through your mind the first 5 minutes as you play against a team that you might not know a lot?
I think you want to make, you know, a positive contribution. So whether it be a pass, a tackle, a header, you're talking about the first 5 minutes of a game. You're setting the tone for not only yourself, but for, you know, your opposing number. So the guy you're playing against, you know, you don't want to give them anything, any kind of hope or doubts about your ability or your temperament. You want to, set out your stall strongly.
Tighter, good, a good cross in swinger, looking for that near post. And CFC comes out of the back, just nice and controlled, just playing the ball out wide, trying to find those gaps. And also we talked about, Tam, as well the importance of the first 5 in the last 5 minutes of each half. Unfortunately, you guys gave up that goal at the end of the first half last week and kind of put you in trouble right before you went to the locker room. Yeah,
it's something that we can improve on. It's our game management. 5 minutes before half time, you really need to just be either keeping the ball or very organized and just seeing it out to the whistle, to get in the locker room, regroup, and come out fresh for the second half.
High pressure right now by New York City FC.
New York City playing with 4 in the back, and as they play that 4-4-2, they're going to build out of the back as well. They're going to take their time, but what's interesting about them, they're going to look for their big top gun as soon as they can. David Villa, the Spanish international, that's someone, Charlie, that as you know, good cross by New York. As you know, you want to try to give him the ball as quick as you can because he's just so good on the ball.
Pretty aggressive start by both these teams. Last week we saw a little bit more of a going through the motions a little bit in the beginning, and both these teams up and down and a lot of pressure.
Yeah, these teams obviously going to be competing against each other, so they'll want to win this game. Make no mistake, it is a pre-season friendly, but this will give the teams a lot of confidence, whoever comes out the winner, and they're obviously trying to build going into this season. So the players will need the confidence too.
The man you're hearing who just spoke, Tam Makandawiri of the Rowdies and Rugby England, where he came from. And how do you like it here in Tampa?
Love it. Love the sunshine. Love the beach. Love the soccer. We actually live in St. Pete, which is great, and it's a great atmosphere, great city. Very happy to be here.
New York City pressing a little bit high. You can tell the Montreal players were asking for that call. Marco Petrasso, the right fullback, right on the ball.
Last week against the Rowdies, Montreal backed off a little bit at the beginning of the game, and then about 15 minutes in, started putting the pressure on.
Yeah, and of course, both teams doing preseason down here in Florida. They're not used to the heat, so fitness is going to be a factor. You cannot high press for 90 minutes, but you can choose, Tam, as you know, you can choose when you want to press high, when you can sit back and wait a little bit. I know you guys do it at will with a great coaching staff, by Stuart Campbell. You guys do a great job pressing together, and then you relax a little bit once you get possession of the ball. So I expect in this game as well, how you're going to see both styles with high press and then wait a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah, as we've seen, both teams are high pressing, especially from the goal kicks. So they're under a lot of pressure right now. New York playing very tidy football under some heavy pressure. But as you say, with the heat and the climate, we expect that to drop off as the game develops.
You see Max Chanel, the center back from New York City, just somebody who's going to sort out the team defensively. He's that player in the back who's going to pause. Kind of what you do for the Rowdies, Tam. He can actually dictate where the ball goes out of the back. As a center back, you have the base view in the house, other than the goalkeeper. So distributing out of the back and keeping the ball is a must for every team.
Yeah, especially if you're playing a possession game, base game, as we like to at the Rowdies, and as you're seeing here, it's very important for all your players to be comfortable on the ball, and especially nowadays, your goalkeeper is vital to be good with his feet.
This is what I was talking about. Anton Tenenholm trying to play that ball to David Villa, who made a good run, diagonal run, a little bit too far.
And David Villa has played 94 games, 3 years of playing for New York, and has 63 goals and 21 assists.
That's not too shabby, huh? Tam, I'm sure you would love to have a forward of that caliber putting the ball in the back of the net. That's going to translate into points and wins as well.
Yeah, that would be absolutely magnificent for us to have somebody of that caliber. We do obviously have Joe Cole and the great Georgi Hristov too, who obviously we're looking for big contributions again this year. You know, you're talking about players who've contributed to the team considerably year after year, so nothing different from them. But as you say, David Villa is that next level.
Yeah, of course, you talk about Ristov, you know, 15 goals last year, great season. And of course, he's looking to do it again this year. And he's had a pretty good preseason. And as you mentioned, the big gun, and I call it big gun because of his experience, you know, Cole, English international, he's done it all. And now he's coming to the Rowdies to what could be the finish of his career, but he's got plenty of soccer left. I saw him last week, and, you know, he was just superb in preseason, still running, you know, hasn't lost a step, and it's just, he's great on the ball as far as distribution and what he brings to the table as well.
Yeah, Joe's appetite for the game hasn't changed. He's you know, probably still in love with the game, as I like to say, and he wants to be out there every day training. His body might let him do that at times, but he always wants to get on the ball and you know, be trying to thread passes, score goals, create. He just loves the game.
Ronald Matarrita, you see him 22 for New York City. He's been open a couple of times. He's trying to get the ball. You see him on the ball right now. Very shifty left foot player. Good ability on the ball. He wants to get that ball out wide as soon as he can. He loves to make those penetrating runs and plays the ball from out wide into the middle.
This is going to be a good opportunity for New York.
So good on the box. Going against two defenders. He gets stripped with the ball, but he was looking for that 1-2. Foul right outside.
And this will be very dangerous.
Maximiliano Morales goes down. They're number 10. This is a great spot right here for David Villa. We know he could strike a ball. Free kick. Morales collected the ball outside the 18 as you see him down.
He comes and gets the ball, and then a late one came in, and definitely a foul there.
Yeah, Diallo just a little bit late for that tackle. Couple of options, but David Villas on the ball. Right foot in swinger. Got a choice to go over the wall near post. You see the goalkeeper Bush setting up the wall.
Now, Cam, looks like that wall from our angle is a little bit too far over to our left on this, especially with a right footer kicking the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like it's a lot of space for David Villa to work, and as you say, he's nearly worked his magic there. He's hit the come off the top of the box.
And that's exactly why, Tam, you don't want to give somebody like David Villa a lot of space. Once again, right in swinger. Watch how the ball drops right at the end, because they give him an opt and he hits it crossbar right and the outside of the crossbar. Just great free kick. That's one of the reasons why you do not want to start giving out fouls right on top of the box if you are the Montreal Impact. Great effort by the Spanish international Villa.
Yeah, a lot of times much more difficult to put topspin on a ball as opposed to going from right to left, and he had both on that. He had the right to left, but went over the wall and then just barely missed as far as height was concerned.
And as you know, in that free kick scenario, is having enough space for the ball to drop, right? When you hit the top, you want to have enough space for the ball drop, and of course we'll find the back of the net. If you're too close, it's hard to get that distance over the wall, and then that angle sort of drop at the end. But great job by David Villa.
And you're now noticing that the Impact are backing off a little bit defensively, and Tam, a lot of times Tam McCandawiri from the Rowdies, is that one or two players that is saying, okay, we're backing off, or the captain or somebody in the center?
I think they'll probably have worked on it, you know, throughout preseason. Oh, New York are in.
David Villa once again working his magic. We talked about how good he is on the ball. Great ball by Morales, and the Spanish international does the rest. Villa with a great finish to put out New York City up 1-0. What an outstanding finish, Charlie.
Yeah, here it comes, and sees Evan Bush, the goalkeeper, out. Evan says, I'm in trouble, and then looks and sees it's number 7, says I'm in more trouble, and he just flips it over as if nothing happened. There is no chance for Bush to get that, and he was in no man's land, but he had to be, and they got the ball to Villa, and Villa does what he does.
Great finish by Villa, but great ball by Morales, though. He steals the ball right on top of the 18 and played a great ball on the ground. And of course, Villa, knowing that he's got the ability to finish like that, that shows you why he's a world-class finisher.
Yeah, we just talked about Montreal dropping off New York. They've stopped to the high press, and alternatively there, New York are high pressing there, and they've stolen the ball off the centre back, who's trying to bring the ball out from the defense, and ended up with a golden opportunity for David Villa, and he's taken it. You obviously cannot give players of that caliber that kind of room and space or make those kind of mistakes.
Good opportunity here for Montreal. Well taken shot, but blocked.
Ignacio Piatti on the other side, the Argentine from Montreal, doesn't want to stay quiet. Good shot from outside the 18, gets a corner kick. Safir Taidir to take it, right foot in swinger. Montreal putting numbers in the box. And you're right, Tam, when you said if the other team's high pressure, you cannot give the ball in transition. That's exactly what happened with Montreal. They lost the ball in transition. The ball went right to Morales' feet, and he played a great through ball on the ground with the right amount of pace. And of course, as lethal as David Villa is, he's not going to forgive you right outside the 18. He's going to make you pay, and he did so as well.
That last save by Sean Johnson, played at UCF right up the road up in Orlando. From 2010 to 2016, he was with Chicago. Last year, he played first year here for New York and played all 32 games. So a veteran in goal for the New York side.
Sean Johnson doing a good job just clearing the ball out of the back, didn't want any trouble. And a lot of the times, Charlie, just to clearing the ball out of the back to get your shape back, you get your center backs in shape and your fullback stacked in and sort out your marks. That gives you a little bit of a time to just get regroup. Not the best out from your goalkeeper, but at least you get it out of dangerous zone.
He had a little move back there as a opponent was coming at him, and then decided I better get this out of the way.
Yeah, so it's always safety first as a goalkeeper or defender. You know, you don't really want to take too many risks.
Well, especially, Tam, as you would agree, you might rather see the ball out of bounds for a throw than you try to get, cheeky or lose the ball on top of the box. And of course, exactly what happened with Montreal, where, a bad giveaway ends up, against you and in the back of the net. So you much rather see, the ball outside for a throw-in, and then you get a chance to regroup. Much better by the impact. Building out of the back. New York City dropping back a little bit in their marking. They're having a little more space. Great ball into the space. Keeper comes out.
Both are down.
Mateo Mancosu in that.
You see Sean Johnson come out. Kicks the ball, and then they run into each other.
And I think Johnson.
That was Matteo Mancuso. And Johnson's up. And we're back in plan. Both teams are probably pretty excited that they have both got back up.
Yeah, this is not the time where you want to start, getting injuries. I mean, we're only a week away from MLS season starting. Both teams came down here to get fit. Foul right next to the linesman. And of course, Ronald Matarita saying, I got a ball. The linesman said, don't think so. It's a good chance right here for Montreal.
Montreal, you talk about them playing next week. They leave Tampa, go to Montreal, and then fly out to Vancouver. Same country, but what would that be called in England, Tim? You saw the foul right there.
That's probably, you've just chopped him down. You've scythed him down, so it's definitely a foul there.
Great delivery from Montreal, courtesy of Safir Taider. You know, he takes all the free kicks, all the corner kicks. Great ball into the box. Good service, great spin on the ball. Looking for one of his forwards, one of his teammates. Made good contact with the ball, went to the far post, just a little bit off. Johnson was there though. And New York City comes out playing. They've been coming out of the back every time, and they do it pretty regular, so they do it pretty well.
And you notice the high pressure that time by the impact. First game of a doubleheader. Next one is Philadelphia Union playing the homestanding Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's at 7:30.
And once again, if you're joining us, the first header from this Tampa Bay Rowdies Suncoast Invitational. It's been great weather for all the MLS teams that come down here to play against the Tampa Bay Rowdies in this beautiful facility. Beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. As you mentioned, Charlie, they go back to Canada to play in the cold weather. They've been down here. They're not going to want to go back.
And you see on your screen the second game, the Rowdies hosting Philadelphia Union. Should be a good game, and it will end this Suncoast Invitational.
Montreal bidding out of the back. Good move down the line. Raheem Edwards working on that right part of the field. Great cross by Edwards, looking to the far post.
Great
Johnson in the back.
Great left footer, and by Raheem Edwards. He was a handful last week also.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's shown a lot in his first 19 minutes. This is a great delivery in here.
Got a little curve on the ball. Goalkeeper Johnson has to decide whether Mancuso can get the ball or not get the ball, and so he has sort of a little bit halfway of each, and he's feeling lucky that he did not get the ball, because he had to make a decision there, and made the decision that he wasn't going to get the ball, and he was right.
Max Chenard had the inside track. He was goal side, but wasn't able to get to that header. He went down, and he's up again, but just definitely had the advantage. It's Mateo Mancuso.
Once again, seeing high pressure from New York. See Wallace there, a Costa Rican international player. Number 23 for New York.
Montreal once again doing a better job. Now they lose Sevilla with the ball. And here comes the counter. Great ball into space. Rodney Wallace, Villa, top of the 18. Good shot on goal, but Bush has it.
Bush was there. Gave him a little bit of that near post, but had it covered.
Yeah, it's a good idea. The shot a little bit too far. That was Herrera. Yankel Herrera with probably about 30 out. Great ball by David Villa, just playing it behind, and took a one-time shot, but Evan Bush just doing a good job, just staying between the pipes and knowing where he's at. Dangerous situation here for Bush.
It always worries the field players, doesn't it, when the goalkeeper is trying to get back into the to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, I'm sure he would tell us that he had it all under control. So
yeah, of course.
And we needn't worry,
because he's a goalkeeper, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Speaking of goalkeepers, Rowdies are in pretty good shape this year, despite losing a goalkeeper for many years. And Pickens, you got Akira Fitzgerald and also Cody Mizell, who both have got a lot of experience. Yeah,
it's a tough fight for the #1 shirt this season. Two quality goalkeepers, both very good with their feet. As you say, shame to lose Matt Pickens. He's a very good friend of mine as well. But you know, it's going to be tough, as I've said. But both add to the squad, add good quality to the squad. So you know, we'll be in good shape.
And Ronnie Wallace gets called for the foul. And once again, Villa playing the through ball. Early shot. Max Morales.
Very well taken there.
Yeah, and especially because he was an early ball, right? Once again, Montreal loses the ball in transition. David Villa played the early ball to Morales, and now comes the impact on a breakaway.
A lot of action offensively in this game. You're seeing the space being much bigger now than you did earlier in the game, and we're only halfway through the first half. So it's going to be we could see some more action and more chances as the half goes on.
It's pretty obvious that New York City wants to come out of the back, and you would think, Tam, being in that tight situation, they want to just play the ball on top, but no, they play the ball to the fullback from Johnson, you know, adding a little bit of danger, but I guess that's the way they want to play in preseason and try to force their fullbacks just to get that, you know, intimate with the ball and play out of the back.
Yeah, it's great to see, to be honest. It's obviously something that they work on day in, day out. And it's a risk-reward situation, isn't it? If they get out, then it's great, it's fantastic. If they don't, then obviously they could potentially be a goal down. But I think it's great to see teams playing like that and playing, you know, soccer the right way, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially as you mentioned, it's a risk reward. Which one? Well, if you're going to do it, you want to do it in a preseason game and not during the season, where if it doesn't pay off for you, it's going to be very costly. You don't want to give up a goal here, but yeah, playing out of the back, especially early out of the back and keeping the ball, it's a great way for them to come out and you know, start playing.
Ball was riding the line, and the assistant referee finally gave it the throw-in call. Once again, Montreal in white, New York in blue.
Montreal seem to be working the switch very well. They're changing the play from one side to the other very well, and they've had actually a couple of opportunities from doing so. That's obviously something they've looked at and they've worked on, and it's nearly come to fruition a couple of times.
Yeah, there's something they're looking to do as a system, Tam, and as you see the head coach Vieira there, of course, international player, a lot of great soccer that he got to play. But when you look at Montreal, just building out of the back and finding those gaps, as you mentioned, Tam, it's, you know that once you spread out the field, you switch the point of attack as quick as you can. That's going to create runs in the middle. They've had a couple of good chances, a couple of good switches into space for early crosses into the box.
Good save by Sean Johnson there.
And that's what I was talking about. Great job by the impact. 1-2 between the Argentine Ignacio Piatti playing Mateo Moncosu. 1-2, and just like that, he puts him through. Keeper comes out, Johnson, and watch the difference in finishing.
Barely got a piece of it.
Yeah, that was going in. Great job by the goalkeeper. They get a corner kick, and the difference is, Tam, that Villa put his chance away on this one. The goalkeeper made a great save to keep the game right now 1-0 for NYC.
To be fair, though, shot was a little bit closer in, and Bush was more in no man's land. But a great play by Sean Johnson. If he doesn't get a touch on that, that's a goal.
Well, at the angle as well, right? I think Villa had more of a central angle where, you know, Mateo came from an angle, and you're right, Johnson came out and was early enough to get a hand on that. So that's a difference. But great chance for Montreal, though.
Giving up a corner there. Nice ball once again. Flipped up in the air on a little chip. Raheem Edwards going to take this corner kick with his left.
Villa tries to clear the ball.
It's an interesting clear there.
It was interesting.
It was more of a karate chop, but hey, whatever works, right? No defender around, so there's no
Had a little
dangerous
karate kid in there.
Yeah.
That one.
I like it. Johnson out of the back, and once again, watch New York City building out of the back, really taking their time. And of course, Montreal, they're just gonna back up and start the pressure at the 3/4 of the field. Not gonna high press.
And David Villa did not make his money by playing on the defensive end of the field.
Right. Jesus Medina got called for that foul, and just like that, Montreal once again with a chance and a corner kick. Ignacio Piatti, the captain, and swinger.
Couple opportunities for Montreal. Can't diminish the fact of a great first ball by Piatti.
It's a great effort. It's a great effort.
That's a great effort by Raheem Edwards. Inside the box with a bicycle kick. Great early ball, though, from the outside. Great service. And once again, very difficult ball, Charlie.
Takes off his chest and then his preferred foot with a high side volley, almost a bicycle, but gets there and puts it just over top.
I give him the credit for the effort of a bicycle, maybe a side volley, but still great effort. It's for the ball was still going up, and that's the reason he didn't catch the ball on the way down, but very difficult maneuver, of course.
Yeah, it's very, very good technique. Montreal is starting to put the pressure on now, trying to get, you know, a few more opportunities.
And I think that's something they did against you guys as well. They were able to keep the ball, switch your point of attack, early 1-2s, the penetrating runs, and once again, they get a good chance right here. A couple of different options for them. You have Raheem Edwards with a left foot in swinger, and hope the captain Piatti as well, as Medina gets the first yellow of the game. Jesus Medina, New York City FC.
Delay of game there as he stood in front of the ball, which usually don't get that in a preseason game, let alone first half of a game. Very dangerous here. Top of the circle's about 22 yards out, so you're talking about 28 or so.
And once again, Tam, the key here is that if he's going to have enough space for the ball to drop after it crosses the wall, behind the wall, so we know Raheem can strike a ball, especially with that left foot in swinger. The perfect distance for him to hit it over the wall and the ball to drop.
No, absolutely agree, Eddie. That was a perfect distance. As you said, it's very difficult to get the ball to go up and down when you're closer in. Unfortunately, he didn't make the most of that, but I wouldn't be giving too many opportunities like that to either side with the quality that they both have.
Yeah, Villa's free kick earlier, Tam, was a little bit closer, much more difficult to get that over the wall and then down again.
Yes, yes.
Well, if you're just joining us, welcome back once again, 2018 Tampa Bay Rowdies Suncoast Invitational. With you, I'm your host, Eddie Rodriguez, Charlie Slagle, and of course, our good friend, Tam Makandawara, who's taking a break today from playing with the Rowdies. One of the best defenders they have, and of course, he's joining us here in the booth as he's looking forward to the 2018 season.
Hey guys, can you guys
I heard he said that it's Eddie and Charlie up here. I got to go join these guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to come and say hi, you know, hang out with you guys and just watch some soccer.
Was that difficult to come up with the word soccer as opposed to football?
Yes, it is still a conscious thing, you know. I always
you can say football.
Yeah.
We'll get in. You say football, we know what you're talking about. So feel free just to throw it in there. Say up here, watching football. That's good.
Okay, that's good. Thanks, chaps.
You see David Villa checking to the ball. Great ball into space. New York City looking for that early chance. Far post. What a great save in the back, Charlie.
And once again, when you take a cross like that, coaches teach and players learn that you need to take the goalkeeper out of play, put it on the back post or in the near post, whichever works, but you kick the goalkeeper out of play, so he has to make a decision on what he's going to do. Is he going to go get the ball, or is he going to stay in goal? And that was a great cross and a great header to the back post.
You know, once again, it all started by David Villa. Played the ball to Ronald Matarrita with a great early cross. You see him here on the ball once again. Left foot.
Seeing two quality goalkeepers here in Bush and Johnson. The shelf life for the goalkeepers is a little bit longer than field players. They can play much later into their age.
Yeah, I think we'd all love to be able to play, you know, as long as we can into our 40s, but unfortunately that's not the case. As you say, goalkeepers can go well into their 40s. Some cases, rare cases, late 40s. Most field players, you're looking at mid-30s.
Right.
So.
Dino Zoff back in the day for Italy was playing into his early 40s.
Yeah, now you're going way back, Charlie.
I do go way back, so.
No. Okay, now you see the
Brad Friedel. Okay, Brad Friedel, who you had to be a fan of when he was at Aston Villa.
Brad Friedel, yeah.
Of course. Got a chance to play against him in college at UCLA.
We put 3 goals on him when Davidson went out to play out there. I don't let him forget that.
Oh, that's a bad foul right around. He comes a second yellow for New York City FC.
Once again, referees are getting ready for the season also.
Yeah.
And when you're doing pro ball, there's a lot of opportunities to hear what you did wrong, I would think. Would that be true, Tim?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Of course, as a center back, that's Alex Collins. The second, another center back for NYC gets the yellow card. And as Charlie mentioned, referees have to get ready for the season as well. Pulling cards, so he pulls the second yellow of this game. And of course, Charlie, let's not forget Gianluca Buffon, the goalkeeper for the Italian national team with Juventus. Well into his, I think he's 40, 41 perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely been a pillar for the Italian national team, and I want to say 3 World Cups, if I'm not mistaken, looking to play his 4th. But of course, Italy will not be in the next summer's World Cup.
It's great watching a game on TV or on a small screen like your fans are watching today, but to watch team shape, being at the field, there's nothing better.
Like up here.
Yeah, you can't beat this view. It's fantastic. You, when you watch it on television, you don't appreciate the movement off the ball or the tactics.
Great cross into the box, looking for that near post once again. Montreal with another chance. Piatti out wide. You're right, Tam. When you're sitting up here, when you have what they call that bird's eye view, you appreciate the runs out of the back on the weak side, right, as we call it in soccer, right? It's not only the player that has the ball, but the player who's making himself available by running on the weak side. And then, of course, you play the ball into space where the player is going to be, but not where the player is at.
Exactly.
Another foul here. Another good chance for Montreal. And as Tam said earlier, you do not want to keep giving those fouls right outside the 18. As we know, they have Raheem Edwards. And I'm sure he's getting closer to the ball. He's got that sweet left foot. He can in-swing the ball from there. Last time he actually hit the ball into the wall, Charlie, but you keep giving him chances.
That's true. The more chances you get, and then you also have Tadar, who is great with his right foot. So they both were lined up last time, and they're lined up this time. Let's see who gets this one. Looks like Raheem may get it again. Nope, Tadar.
So there's another good effort, not too far away.
Yeah, it's a good effort. You see how the ball just dipped at the end. Once again, as soon as you cleared the ball, you wanted the ball to go high and then come down right at the end. And once again, New York City coming out of the back, adding that little bit of danger out of the back. But Coach Vieira wanted him to come out of the back, wanted him to get used to, as we see once again a great effort in that free kick, Tim.
Tadar on the going to the, as it's dipping over, and look how quickly it dipped once it got over the goal. But once again, it's tough. That's why the wall's there.
Yep, to make it difficult. I think Johnson would have had that covered. But again, a good effort. Players just finding their range at this stage.
Yeah, the wall's there for both the height of the ball and also to make the goal smaller for the goalkeeper.
David Villa was hoping to get the ball in front of him. The ball gets played behind.
Oh.
That was a great save by Evan Bush.
And you see David Villa smiling because he can taste it. He was looking for his second personal goal.
But what a give and go that was in very tight space.
Yeah, he's definitely shown his quality here. He's had a couple of looks on goal, and he's worked the keeper every time, scored one goal. I'm sure if he stays on the field, there'll be more opportunities, more goals for him.
Well, Tam, you get the sense as you're talking about the quality of his game, but also the more he stays on the pitch, you know he's bound to get one of those 1-2s behind you and really get you in trouble. So, you know, he's done it already once. He's looking to do it again. So, as a defender, it's so hard to mark a guy like that because you have to be 100% fully committed that he's not going to get behind you with a little tap in, with a little toe poke, right? He's so good at that.
Exactly. He's a defender's nightmare. He's a defender's nightmare. His finishing is so good and his movement's very sharp. So he's, as I said, he's a nightmare. And to come up against players like him every week would be very tough. But that's what makes the MLS great. You start to get this caliber of player coming over more often. So it's good for the league. It's good for American football, American soccer, and I think it's only gonna get better.
Tim, we talked about a 2v1, a give and go on that. How important it is that a one-on-one is something part of a 2v1. In other words, if a player can't beat you, you don't have to worry about a 2v1 at all, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think you see it more and more now in today's game is teams are happier to leave their defenders 1 versus 1. And they say, you know what, you handle it. You're big enough and ugly enough to look after yourself, and you make sure this guy doesn't beat you. And that allows teams to leave more attacking players up the field and brings a different dimension to the way you play.
As you see the skipper, Patrick Vieira, head coach for New York City FC, just getting up from the bench and just telling his team to, hey, relax, distribute the ball out of the back. You will create more chances. As we approach the 40th minute. Once again, welcome to the 2018 Rowdies Suncoast Invitational. With my good friend Charlie Slagle, and of course our guest of honor, Tam Makandawari, center back for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Looking forward to start your season once again. We're in the preseason time for you guys, but got a chance to watch you guys train this week. Just pretty fit as you guys getting ready for your season. You know, this is the time where fitness is it's a huge part of, you know, what you're doing, and of course getting these games are great.
Yeah, we're a fit bunch of lads, and we've got a good blend of youth and experience, but there's nothing like getting your first games under your belt, you know. We've trained a lot, but the games are what's important for me. You know, you get to take everything that you've worked on in training onto the field, and that's where you really build the relationships to be a successful side.
And Eddie, you mentioned Patrick Vieira. People may have heard that name, 107 caps for France.
I know.
He's a mainstay on the French national team.
Yeah, two-time world champion, right, with France, and play with a few guys like, you know, Zinedine Zidane. I mean, he's had a few good lads, good teammates. I mean, good mates.
Yeah, just a few. Just a few. I'm sure he gets in a phone call to Real Madrid skipper every once in a while and say, hey, how's your team doing? Because this is how we're doing it in New York City, so it's good.
And once again, you see New York City coming out of the back with ease. I mean, they knock the ball around, and it's great to see, you know, Tam, you and I talked about it, just to build out of the back, and you see the consistency of the center backs and defenders. Just to see that, the fact that they can handle the ball in tight spaces, is great to see out of your defenders.
It is, and as you're talking about Patrick Vieira there, it also comes from him and him allowing the players to do that, giving them the confidence to build out from the back like that, because not every manager is brave enough to let their team do that. So you've got to respect that he's giving them those instructions and allowing them to be free and play.
No, absolutely. It's a team effort, and it's just the way the team is playing. As we see, no call in the box. It's a particular style of play that Patrick Vieira, the skipper, wants his team to play. Built out of the back, no matter what.
Headed the ball for a throw in for safety purposes there, as Montreal had a good push coming out of the back on a counter.
Don't forget, the second game coming up at 7:30, the local team, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, against the Philadelphia Union.
And Eddie, what a beautiful night.
Oh my God, it is gorgeous here. Of course, we talked about the facilities here. Tam, you've been around the USL now. What do you think about this facility that you guys played? I mean, it's just exceptional. If you look at the pitch, you know, par none, one of the better venues in the country.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind, Eddie, that this is the premier stadium in the USL, in my opinion. You know, I'm not just talking about the field, I'm talking about the setting, the stands, and the atmosphere as well.
You see David Villa just dancing on top of the 18, just doing what he does best, just, you know, getting around players.
You see the facility, and also we have a Grand Prix coming up. There's all these concrete as the racers will come into St. Petersburg next weekend, I believe.
Well, that was a surprise I had for you guys today. Charlie Slagle was going to be driving one of those cars at over 200 miles per hour next week. And Charlie, are you in or what?
I'm out.
We saw one of those cars in the front. They're not. You know, I don't fit in one of those, so it's got to be you, buddy.
I am out.
Tam, you're too big for that, so you don't fit either. Well, Montreal trying to get a chance in the last minute of this first half. Once again, New York City FC against the Montreal Impact. An early goal by David Villa to put up New York City. As we go into halftime, Charlie, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a very entertaining first half. You got some very skillful players. Both teams at times high pressured the ball, which made for some opportunities both ways. You had some defensive steals that led to opportunities, but also openings because of the pressure. And I thought it was a very entertaining first half. Tam?
Yeah, I just had very entertaining, some good opportunities. Obviously, you can't not talk about David Villa and his quality, the chances that he's created. He's been the standout player for me, along with Raheem Edwards for Montreal, who's done some great work on this right-hand side, although he's left-footed. So I'm looking forward to more chances and more goals in the second half.
No, I would have to agree. The difference has been, you know, David Villa for NYCFC, and of course, Ignacio Piatti has had a couple of good chances, and of course, Raheem Edwards. As we go into the highlights of the first half, stay with us and watch how everything started. New York City playing a great ball into that corner once again. They started early. Ball to the far post.
That was very close. You're going to see it again. Left foot, high quality, a skim head, and just barely missed Villa.
You see Villa on the free kick from about 20 out, in swinger, and this is the bad giveaway right here.
Yeah, that's good work from New York. That's great pressing, which creates this opportunity for David Villa.
And he put the ball about 15 feet high, but it landed on the goal line as it goes in. One of the mistakes you find when people try to make those kind of chips is they end up going over the bar because you almost should aim for it to land on the goal line.
Of course, this Herrera from about 30 out. Great job by the goalkeeper, but big give credit to Max Morales, is the one with the assist to David Villa. Great ball. Good. As you see once again, I see Montreal Impact going to the attack, and this is a great ball right here. Johnson comes out. And damn, that could have been the 1-1 right there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good work from Johnson. He narrows down the angle. The recovering defender also doesn't help, but it's a great save.
And here's Raheem Edwards with the left-footed flying side volley, and a quality shot. And look at how much that was tipping. That could have been a very dangerous ball.
Once again, how about this 1-2? David Villa goes through. Great job by the goalkeeper, and just like that. We'll be back for the second half shortly. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the 2018 Tampa Bay Rowdies Suncoast Invitational as we get ready for the second half between New York City FC and Montreal Impact. I'm Eddie Rodriguez with the legend Charlie Slagle, and of course our guest of honor from the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Tamp Makandawera. Charlie, what do you look for in the second half?
I think we're going to see more of the same. I think both teams are going to keep those starters out as long as possible. They got a week until they have to play. And it's also, you know, in the March time slot and where they're playing, it's going to be a little cooler than here. So I think that this is a good conditioner for them. And I think you're going to see almost everybody go in about 80 minutes in this, even though there is unlimited substitution.
Tam, for you guys, as Charlie mentioned, as you come out of that preseason period and you get ready into the season, how important is it just to get there fit?
It's huge to be fit for the start of the season. You know, you've been through all the preseason games, all the training. To suffer an injury or, you know, a little strain or niggle at this stage, would be very disappointing and a huge blow to, you know, not only the team but yourself. So you do have to be careful. You obviously want to give your best in the games, you know, but you do have one eye on the opening game of the season.
Yeah, and of course the difference, Charlie, and you mentioned it early in this game. MLS regular season starts next week, and for you guys, you have a little more time to prepare. But as these two teams get ready for their opening next week, Charlie, what are the expectations as a coach, as you're trying to bring the whole group together and trying to bring your starters, but also make sure the players, your subs, as if we want to call them that, to come off the bench to be ready for the season?
Yeah, no question. You have to have everybody ready, and you know, that's an interesting time. It's a long, long season. You don't play; you play until October, late October, and it is a long season, and it is for the USL teams, which the Rowdies are. Talk a little bit about the USL. Of course, this is exhibition, but then you also have the cup games in the summer that you play, and a lot of times it's USL versus MLS. What's the difference between these teams?
I think there is a difference, obviously. You know, as we've spoken about at length, you know, the quality of David Villa and PRT. Although we obviously have Joe Cole, but you generally don't have these type of marquee players in the USL. So when you're coming up against these players in the MLS, you know, you want to set your standards. You know, you want to play against the best and see how you do, because it can, you know, give you a great lift and a confidence boost as an individual and as a team. So when we play the MLS teams in these tournaments, you know, you're essentially looking for a confidence boost and, you know, some recognition and just to say that, you know, I can play at this level potentially, and players that want to go onto that level. It's kind of a shop window as well, because obviously the coaches are here and it's an opportunity to show them what you've got. So the younger players, you know, certainly when I was younger, I would always, you know, want to do well against the Premier League teams that I was playing against, or Championship teams. So I see it as no different for the guys here wanting to put themselves in a shop window and potentially play in the MLS at some stage. The
line is very thin, is it not? I just asked Wigan and Man City, I guess, as Wigan just knocked them out of the FA Cup, and they're actually 2 levels below. But you know, you as a coach, as a manager, you have to decide, who am I going to play in this game? And with only 3 substitutions, you can't really go, oh my gosh, we need to put the starters all back in or whatever. And so it's true pretty much around the world in the domestic leagues, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think, you know, cup games are very different. You know, a one-off game, anybody, I feel, not everybody, but anybody can beat anybody in a one-off game. But when you're talking about playing at that standard and that level week after week after week, that's when I think you see the difference between, you know, a USL team and an MLS team.
Yeah, and also, Tam, we're starting to see some of the franchises, of course, you know, we're lucky here with the Tampa Bay Rowdies that you have your Cole, but even if you look at the Phoenix Rights, they have Drogba, they have Vargas, another Mexican international who's got the most caps for Chivas as well. So you have a few of those international players to come in here. Yeah, it's USL, but as you mentioned, at any given day, and I got a chance to call some games last year, that some of the USL teams would go into the Open Cup and beat MLS teams, as you mentioned. At any given day, it's different than the regular season when you got to play a home game and then away game, and then, of course, be consistent throughout the whole season.
Yeah, that's correct. That's right.
Well, as you see from the screen, 1-0 to New York City FC, goal by David Villa. a great goal, a little chip over Evan Bush, the goalkeeper for Montreal. Almost Piatta almost got one back on a similar kind of shot. He was just a little bit tighter. Sean Johnson got just part of his hand on that ball, and it went over the top. But a very entertaining game, as we mentioned at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and that was pretty much the difference. The great finish by David Villa, the Spanish international. As Charlie mentioned, he's got 63 goals and 21 assists in just 90 games. And those are just some ridiculous numbers. Tam, I'm sure you can account to that. When you have a forward who's got 63 goals and 21 assists, I mean, you talk about productions. And once again, check out this replay right here. Of course, give credit to Max right here with a great ball. David Villa goes one-on-one, and how about that finish right there? Clinical, Charlie.
It is clinical. There's no question. He puts it over. Bush knows I have no chance, and I'm hoping it hits something and doesn't go in.
And Tam, you as a defender, trying to get back to trying to close somebody like David Villa like that when you're one step away and all of a sudden he chips the ball like that, and you're like, really? You just finished like that? Really? Come on.
Yeah, that's you got no chance. You're just praying to the football gods there for him to miss-hit his shot or hit the bar, as Charlie said, and you know you literally have no chance. And
the assist was on a one-touch ball off of a win, as opposed to trapping it and looking and doing whatever. Saw that ball, put it ahead of him, and then it's a pretty good pass when you hit it to Villa.
Yeah, and once again, Max Morales with a great, he's the one that played that through ball to Villa, but just with a great amount of pace, just great ball into the space, and that pretty much has been the difference in this game. As we see both teams here getting ready for the second half. Your referees, Victor Vasquez, the middle, Benjamin Witten, and of course, your fourth official, Elvis Osmanovic. Actually, that's Chris Pencer is actually the referee in the middle. Thanks, Charlie, for pointing that out. Charlie, predictions for the second half. I know you have that crystal ball out there, and you call the first game by Villa.
I'm looking for another 2-1 game. It seems that that's what you do in these things, and we'll see as to who's going to win it. I could go either way. But I see 2 more goals coming this half.
Dan, what do you think?
Have to agree with Charlie there. I think 2-1 is on the cards right now.
Are you picking a team though?
I'm gonna go for New York.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with Tam on the team. I'm gonna have to go 3-1, and I'm gonna call that David Villa is gonna have another moment of brilliance, as I like to call it. When you're playing with a player of that caliber, international, he's just magic on the ball. I love to watch him play. Speaking of which, plays a great through ball into the box.
Out for a goal kick.
Jesus Medina has been kind of quiet for New York City FC. He's the one that made that run, and David Villa playing a great through ball and space. And that's one of the things I appreciate about Villa. Not only does he score goals, but he assists as well. Just, you know, that soccer IQ, the ability to play that little cheeky touch, Tam, as you know, as a defender, it's just so hard to predict. You get close to him, and he's going to flick the ball, and now you're in trouble because he's behind you.
Yeah, it's very intelligent, as you're saying, Eddie, and very difficult. Will be very difficult to play against.
NYCFC playing out of the back, and that's something they love to do. We've seen him even in tight spaces. You know, you see the flat back four, you see their fullbacks all the way to the touchline. Of course, they're going to try to gain that space, and they do a great job switching the point of attack, and that's how they're able to find Villa, their number 9 out front. Do a great job picking the ball. 1-2's in the middle. Morales, the number 10 on the ball. And look at that switch. It's on because they're going to have time and space. Now you play the ball to Villa out wide.
This is good from New York. They seem to have upped the tempo. They had quite a lot of the ball in the first half, but it was a bit laboured. Maybe that the heat has something to do with that. But they've come out of this second half. They look lively. They're zipping the ball around. The movement's very good. Putting Montreal under some good pressure.
Yeah, and I think the difference, Charlie, you might agree with this, is just the tempo of the second half so far. As Tam mentioned, just the speed of the game. New York City stepped it up just a bit. 1 touch, 2 touch, but the movement of the ball, it's so good. You see them there, and they're not keeping the ball as long.
And you're also seeing not only side to side, but balls coming forward and then going back and then forward and back. You saw Villa 2 times put balls 1 touch right back to make players have to make a different move.
And then there's that penetrating run into the space for Jesus Medina, rather. And Tam, you know, as a player, there's nothing worse than you're playing against a team who can ping the ball around and you're late. And you're chasing and chasing and chasing, and nobody likes to chase, right? We like to play with the ball.
Very true.
And he's just, you know, so demoralizing because you can't quite get to the defender, and then they play the ball, and then you're running again.
Maxi Morales is going to take this corner kick. It will be an outswinger with his right foot.
Morales with a great cross, dangerous cross. Keeper comes out.
There was some miscommunication there, though, as goalkeeper came out and his own defender headed the ball. Very dangerous situation. Not necessarily on the ball going in right then, but wherever it goes after that touch is going to be important because the goalkeeper's out of play. And
great spot right here for NYCFC. And look who's getting ready. David Villa, once again, we saw him in that very dangerous free kick in the first half. Medina on the ball. David Villa.
And Piatti just tried to push the ball back a little bit.
You see Piatti right there, just right at the end.
Hey, we've been playing this for long. I'm 33, you're 36.
Well, listen.
You're going to touch that ball.
Ignacio Piatti, Argentine. David Villa, Spaniard. They share the common interest in Spanish. David Villa, top of the 18 with a free kick. Oh, what a goal! Classic once again, Charlie. Tam, what do we talk about? Don't give him chances on top of the 18s because he could do that. I did call it, right? I said he was going to score again.
You did call it.
And he does not let me down.
And look how this ball is low as it goes into the goal.
Well, once again, Tom, you and I talked about how the ball has to dip. Once it goes over the wall, you got to put enough spin for the ball to dip. Well, guess what? The ball did that, and no chance for the goalkeeper to get there.
That ball was 23, 24 yards out, and by the time it went in the goal, it was only about 3 feet off the ground over the wall. So,
here's the best part. You know, he's scored a few of those, so nothing to it, right? He, you know, it's like a Sunday afternoon for him. He does it all the time, not a big deal.
Yep.
And just like that, New York City FC goes out 2-0. David Villa with the 2 goals.
Yeah, we've spoken a lot about his quality, and he's putting on a bit of a show here. He's not been too involved in the game, but he's had 2-3 telling contributions. Obviously, 2 goals. He's hit the woodwork already. So
he gets both his names on there. He gets David and Villa in there. If they had to put yours on there, Tam, that would be a trouble.
Yeah, you'd be in trouble.
Either name makes it tough on yours.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, on yours we have to just abbreviate that, you know, with Tam, and then we put MK. That's it for your last name.
A good chance here.
Oh! It's a great strike.
We talked about this last week. It is a great strike. 5 minutes after a goal is very important also.
Yeah. Well, we even talked about it today, Tom. You know, Tam, the first 5 minutes of each half, the last 5 minutes of each half, and just like that, a lot of the times you go score 1, and Montreal refuses to go away. Great goal right on top of the 18.
And this is by Kolicki, who was just drafted 54th in the Super Draft. Watch that left foot, and that is hammered. Hits the upright and goes in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's Safir Tadir.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
You know, it's great because he's a right foot player. You see, he takes all the free kicks and all the corner kicks for Montreal, and he goes with his left foot, far post, near post rather. What a great finish! But just like that, this is going to make for a very interesting game. You know, I know you guys wanted a 2-1 score. We have that 2-1 with about what, 40 minutes to go. So now you guys are in trouble.
That was quite a shot.
Yeah, it's a fantastic strike. But as you guys are saying, it's when you score a goal, I think the next five minutes is the most vulnerable.
Both ways too.
Both ways, yeah. Both ways too. So
the team that just got scored on puts their head down, and next thing you know, they're 2 goals back.
Yep.
Well, it's about being tactical discipline, right? When you scored a goal, now you want to sort out your shape in the back, make sure your fullbacks are tucked in when you don't have the ball, and your center backs in a spot. And what happened is they give up a ball in a very bad area, and of course, Safir made him paid for it with a great finish. He went to the near post, and it's those giveaways that are going to change the game.
Another great ball.
Fantastic ball.
Tam, how about that ball by Villa with the outside of his right foot, just like that, putting the player one-on-one against the goalkeeper. He could have done better with that finish. And of course, that was Rodney Wallace. But watch this ball. After New York City wins the ball goes out wide to Villa. Watch this ball right here, outside of his right foot, right into the space. I mean, come on. That's just fantastic. Just feel the field, Charlie. You're playing with that player who can see it all. Just one touch.
And not only can he see it all, he's seen it all. So he almost knows what he has to do without even looking at it. We have seen a show. Worth the price of admission already.
For the fans here today, they've definitely gotten their money's worth when you're come to watch a player of the caliber and experience of David Villa, the Spanish international. Not only the 2 goals he has scored, great chance right here. Bush comes out, right place, right time. Look how deep Ignacio, the international, Piatti is getting the ball. He's number 10, but he wants to receive the ball closer to the 18. When you have your forwards, Tam, that far getting the ball, he turns, he's got 40, 50 yards to run. There's no way he's going to be able to, be of danger, as opposed to when David Villa gets the ball back, give away.
Okay, well, 2-1s now there, and there's Piatti also.
Ignacio Piatti, we talked about the Argentine, just to mess up the prediction, the captain of this Montreal team. Great finish, and once again, Tam, Charlie, it's those giveaways in bad spot that have changed his game.
This is a bad giveaway. Piatti gets there, tough angle, puts it inside the post. That's not an easy shot.
No, he still has a lot of work to do there, and that is a great finish.
And if that ball was supposed to go to Johnson, that was just a bad, really bad giveaway, because of course Piatti comes in, steals the ball, and as Charlie mentioned, that's a really tough angle for a forward to put in, and he goes second post just to tie up this game 2-2.
We still have 35 minutes left to go. We've had 3 goals in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, that was a bad giveaway, but a great finish had to come with it.
Head injury.
Yeah, Morales flicks that ball, and he goes down. Of course, now with the concussion protocol, they're going to stop the game.
Going to see it here. Ball up in the air. Got an elbow.
That's an elbow, yeah. Definitely an elbow there.
And you guys have been warned about elbows, haven't you? Playing wise, referees do not like to see that, and that's a possible red card when the elbow swings. Correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's not something that I don't think anybody likes to see elbows really. But yeah, it's a tough call as a defender. You have to protect yourself, and also as a striker too. Sometimes you can't help lifting your elbows.
Right. It's whether you're rotated or not.
Yeah, of course. If you're swinging elbows, then you have no legs to stand on.
And of course, that was Daniel Lovitz, one of the subs for the Impact in the second half, who made contact with Maximiliano Morales. Of course, Morales had the first assist on David Villa's goal. Where's number 10? Definitely plays like a true number 10 for this NYCFC. Loves to get the ball at his feet, and just great on the ball, very technical. Small player in stature, but just good technically. Just, you see him there on the ball.
But you're seeing it forward and back. A lot of high pressure by New York.
Yeah, as soon as they give the ball away, they're pressing straight away. Closest man is pressing the ball.
See New York City FC building out of the back, but it's almost like they're taking a little bit, too long to build out of the back. I know they're changing, strategies as far as when they go forward. They're very systematic as far as going to goal or staying, keeping possession and switching point of attack. As you see, the whole entire bench just getting out to warm up. The 58th minute, 2018 Suncoast Tampa Bay Rowdies Invitational. I'm Eddie Rodriguez alongside Charlie Slagle and our guest, Tam Macandawara with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who unfortunately will not suit up for the next game here at 7:30, but hopefully we'll be back a couple of days. What do you think? 2-3 days?
Yeah, 2-3 days. I should be on the field on Monday doing some work, so it's nothing too serious, just a knock. But as it's pre-season, it's best not to risk anything at this stage. But yeah, as I said, nothing too serious, and I should be training on Monday.
And Charlie, on the other side, we see the whole entire bench as well from the Montreal Impact. I know you spoke to the assistant coach, and they were not planning on, having a lot of subs as they get ready for MLS season. But next week, you never know, right?
Nope, that's true. Plus, you got to keep their interest over there, so go warm up.
Well, you want to make sure that some of the subs, some of the players that are not going to get full 90 minutes, they get some type of a workout. Tam, as you know, as a skipper, as a coach of a professional team, you got to worry about minutes, right? And some of the players who don't get 90 minutes, you want to make sure they do something so that at least get, they keep that level of fitness.
Yeah, you definitely want your players to be ready for any opportunity, and you have to keep them mentally prepared as well, because they could be called on at any minute. So you need your squad, you need to keep your squad ready, basically, fitness-wise and mentally healthy too. It's very difficult to keep everybody happy in a squad, and unfortunately it's not possible.
Well, that's one of the challenges of being a manager, not only at the high level. It happens to be in club. Nobody likes to be in the bench, and everybody wants to be on the field and get quality minutes as well.
Tam, talk a little bit about David Villa. Plays a lot like Messi does, as far as he's just sitting there in the middle and not making a heck of a lot of movement until he needs to. And it's sort of like a time bomb if you're a defender there.
Yeah, he's one of those strikers who, as I said, he's not too involved in the build-up, but he's always going to be a danger in and around the goal. So you have to stay switched on at all times. As we've seen, he only needs 1-2 chances to punish you. So as a defender, it's very difficult to play. If you're playing up against somebody, you can, a big target man, you can feel them, you can be physical with them. That's not easy, but it's easier than somebody who's always constantly around. You don't really know where he is, and he's always, lurking. So he's a very dangerous player, and would be very, very difficult to play against and handle.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. When you don't have that body to check into, and those little guys are so tricky, and they just get behind that space, and it's hard for the center backs to get to. Great ball into the box, New York City. With another chance here, corner kick. Diallo by Montreal just blocking that shot on top of the 18.
You mentioned Cheeky a little while ago. Medina there with the little header that only went about 2 yards was a very good play.
How about that for Cheeky, Charlie?
Nice little nutmeg there.
And of course, Rodney Wallace, the Costa Rican international, 23 goals with his with the team, 28 assists. And of course, 17 appearances with the Costa Rican national team. And you see why. Just skills, left foot player.
We had an entertaining first half. We've had a more entertaining second half, despite the entertainment value was very high.
Look at David B doing a great job just making that run. And then after that, just bringing the ball down in a tight space between two center backs. It's so difficult, but he's able to bring the ball down, lost it at the end, but in such a tight space, Tam, as you know, it's a lot easier to disrupt as a center back than to construct as a forward. So a lot of the times, all you got to do is toe poke the ball and it's out.
Yeah, he's making these defenders work. You know, whether he's receiving the ball or not, he's making these runs, and you and I know that the defenders will be very conscious of his movement. They don't want to give him an inch.
Saw some good communication there as Sean Johnson called for the ball and made sure his defender did not touch that ball as it was coming across.
And I think that's one of the qualities about Johnson, the goalkeeper in the back. He's got that presence. He owns that box. When he comes out, you know, he's constantly talking to you, and that was a prime example of what you want your goalkeeper to do: come out, own that box, and you know, Tam, as a center back, when they say leave it, you leave it, right? So ask questions later. They have the best view in the house, of course, nothing behind them, and you know, just good job owning the whole entire area.
Yeah.
And that's why I think goalkeepers make the best coaches, Eddie, being a goalkeeper myself.
So you say, Charlie. I think center mids do a better job, but that's neither here nor there. Of course, Charlie Slagle, no stranger from coaching all over the different ranks. 20+ years at Davidson, just convert that program into a powerhouse in the 90s. Now, of course, the president of Tampa Bay United, one of the better clubs in the state of Florida and nationwide as well. And of course, Charlie, an ex-goalkeeper himself. We're not going to talk about the years, Charlie, because I know you're a few years older than me, but we'll just leave it at that.
Well, thanks.
Tam, as you and I know, goalkeepers are a little bit out there, right? They have to be. The good ones anyway. So.
Yeah, they do say you have to be a little bit crazy to be a goalkeeper, so I've not been proved wrong yet by that statement.
We know that to be true of the goalkeeper coach of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, an ex-teammate of mine, Stuart Dobson. That guy's definitely out there, but it's good for you that now he's a coach, so he's come down quite a bit.
We'll have to talk off air about that one, Eddie. I'll get some stories, some ammunition.
Yeah, there's a few stories. And I'm sure, Charlie, you dealt with plenty of crazy goalkeepers all your years at Davidson and at Castle.
I did. And some crazy field players, too. There's plenty of those.
Morales on the ball and the outside.
We have a foul there. There has not been many fouls.
Actually, Piatti gets called for that the other way. The Argentine, and the third yellow. That's to the center back, Anton Tinnerholm for NYCFC. And I think it was just the retaliation. Or
comes across.
Piatti right here. Wallace. I think they just stepped on each other. Just.
Piatti somehow got the call for him as opposed to otherwise, and it is a Montreal free kick, and he did the stepping, it looked like, on that one.
Well, once again, if you're just joining us, welcome to the 2018 Tampa Bay Rowdies Suncoast Invitational.
And if you're just joining us, you should have been on earlier.
You should have.
There have been some goals.
What? The next game, it's going to be great. The Tampa Bay Rowdies versus the Philadelphia Union. I'm your host, Eddie Rodriguez, alongside Charlie Slagle, and our guest of honor up here, Tam Makandawara from the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
From Rugby, England.
He's teaching me a few of the rules of rugby. And of course, I told him he could say football instead of soccer. He's now more Americanized, but taking the day off today due to a small injury. He'll be back by Monday. So we just brought him up to the booth. Use his analytical expertise as well. This is going to be his second career once you hang him up. But he's got a few years to play, so he's still good.
Tim, I've never understood rugby, which is a brutish sport, is sort of a gentleman's sport in as far as the spectators, it seems, in England. And then the sport that has all the skill, football, soccer, is sort of a little rougher crowd as far as the spectators. How does that work?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
True, though, right? Is it not true?
It is very true. I don't actually have an answer for that one. But no, you're right. It's seen as a gentleman's sport, though. It's obviously very physical on the field. But yeah, that's a good question.
Tinnerholm with a great 1-2. He gets around the defender. He gets taken down right here, coming out of the back, and NYCFC doing a great job building out of the back.
After you beat somebody like that, there's a good chance somebody else is going to take you down. Is that not true?
That is very true.
Well, Charlie, as you know, we called out a professional foul, right? It happened 70 yards away from the goal. I don't know why they call it professional. There's nothing professional about it other than you just stop the flow of the play, but
you've been there before and you knew what you were going to do.
A few times, yeah.
Again, it's a little bit chippy here now. Another yellow.
And that's the 4th yellow of the game. 3-2 NYCFC. Ring is down.
Alex Ring down for New York. Looks like he's going to be okay.
I think that was just a late tackle there. Ring played the ball and he just got nicked right at the end.
Going to have a replay coming up.
See if we can catch the moment. Ring gets the ball. He plays that through ball, and this step right at the end by Ken Krolicki, the Michigan State graduate, 53rd in the Super Draft.
That was really late, though. That one was.
Yeah, it was quite late.
Good overlap run to the corner. Tinnerholm trying to get to the end line and cross the ball. One of the right fullbacks trying to make a run out of the back, and not the best cross, Charlie.
Anything that results in a counter off of your pass is a tough ball.
Yeah, definitely unintentional, that one.
Another yellow card coming out.
David Villa gets a yellow. He didn't look at that smile. Of course, he took Raheem down. Raheem Edwards.
Once again, Raheem Edwards with another good game. Villa comes in late. Oh, and he puts his hand up like he didn't mean to, but that second move of the foot was definitely something he wanted to do.
Yeah. He's been quiet this half, Edwards. He's not shown what he did in the first half. I'd like to see him come alive again. He was a bit of a spark for Montreal for the Impact.
Another left footer. The Rowdies have a couple good left footers in Schaefer, and then last week Nanchoff came in and did some great things with his left foot.
Yeah, both outstanding players. Obviously, Marcel scored some vital goals for us last season. At times, he was carrying the team, I felt. Michael Nanchoff as well, very good technical player. Like to see him in the team a lot more this season. Hopefully, he will be influences the game, gets on the ball. So I'm expecting big things from Nano, as we call him this season, and again from Marcel. So we've got a great squad, guys, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how things develop, and I'm looking forward to this game against the Union, and hoping that the things that we've been working in on training, they come out on the field tonight.
Yeah, definitely unlucky. We saw last week against the Montreal Impact, the late goal by Ignacio Piatti, but you're right, Tam. You want some of the things that you do in preseason, you want them to show in game time. And I know, as part of the coaching staff, Coach Stuart Campbell's, we're working on that, the transition into the game, and as you mentioned earlier, build up from last year. As you guys, went into the playoffs, fell short of the goal, but how can you build from that going to the 2018 season and pick up where you left off as a team? That's, that's the goal of this year for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
And to me, it looks like I think you're a better team this year. It looks like you're a little deeper. It starts with you got two goalkeepers that are going to be fighting for a spot, and which means a little bit one's nicked up or just needs a rest. You got somebody to go there, but it looks like you have a little bit more depth, and I think goal scoring power is probably even a little bit better.
Yeah, we're very deep in the squad. I think we have two for pretty much every position, and two quality players for every position. So, keeping the nucleus of the squad together. You've got players, like myself, Neil Collins, Joe, Marcel, Martin Vingard, Michael Nanchoff, Georgi Christoph. you know, we've got Zach Portillos. I don't want to. I'm conscious of leaving people out, but we all know what it takes to play for the Rowdies, and we've all played quite a considerable amount of games. So when you take that into account and bring in the new additions, maybe the younger guys, you know, for me, that should be a winning combination. And as you say, I think we're a better side. Time will tell, but I'm very confident going into the season that our ability and you know, work ethic and experience will take us very far.
No, I think it's a great assessment of where the team is, and as you mentioned, some of the great additions, like, you know, Jack Blake on loan from the Armada, who had a great season for them, scoring 8 goals and just a great free kick taker, penalty kicks as well. But I think there's going to be a great addition, as Charlie mentioned. Schaefer did a great job just pinging balls out of the back and just finding those, you know, in set pieces or situations that they could deliver the ball. I think Jack's going to do the same thing and just give that different dimension. You know, he's a right-footed player, Schaefer's a left-footed player, so it gives you variety as you build out of the back, and of course translating into chances to go to goal. And when you have players like Cole on top who can put it away, you know, it's going to be a difference.
And also you have many players who are thinking that they're going to continue their career in the coaching end of it. Schaefer, I believe, is headed to an academy job back in Germany, I would think, in a very soon after he finishes his career. Obviously, we talked earlier about you and Joe getting your FA badges here last year. Michael Nantroff is coaching for my club right now with the under-12 academy boys and has his B license already. A lot of players are going to do that, and I think that that knowledge of how it's done with the experience has to help.
Yeah, I definitely think it does. It does help. As you've both said, we're a very experienced squad, and that can help. You know, when you're not in the team as well, that helps. And when you have young players coming into the side, that can also help. And also when they're not playing, it's probably the hardest time for any player. And you know, when you've got guys who've been around the block, you know that football changes very quickly. You know, the players that start the first game of the season, that starting 11 is very rarely the same 11 that finishes the season. So it changes quickly, and you know, you just have to stay positive as much as you can, and just enjoy it. You know, football, soccer, it's a game that, you know, you're meant to enjoy, and that's when I think you play your best.
A couple of questions for you as we continue to watch this game. Neil Collins, has he ever lost a head ball?
No, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that he's lost a head ball.
Ever, or just with the Rowdies?
And second, faster player, Alex Morel or Joe Cole?
Definitely Joe. Definitely Joe. Definitely Joe.
I'm going to put my money in Joe as well.
He jokes around about his speed, does he not?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's still got a couple of yards. I'll tell you what, give him the ball. It will beat most players. You know? He's one of those. He's faster with the ball than without.
See Morales on the ball, Herrera in the box. New York City with a good chance right here. Free kick, 35 out, and swinger. Just find David Villa. He'll do the rest.
David Villa about 6 yards off sides right now. And as a defender, does that bother you when a player who seems to be offsides the entire time? David Villa seems to plant himself there until the time comes that he needs to be onside. Yeah,
that is annoying. They obviously changed the rules a few years back, which obviously sparks a huge debate about a lot of goals that have been scored. But, you know, it's part of the game. You just have to evolve and get used to it.
Well, I think what he does, Charlie, he's so smart. He starts from an offside position, and as the ball moves, he's always looking just to get right next to you. Yeah, look at the difference right here. You see him at least 8 yards, but watch, he knows the ball's going to be played here. Obviously, he knows it's not going to be a free kick. And now, as the play develops, look, he doesn't even hasn't moved. So now he's in a good place because now defenders are coming back. Now, Tam, as you know, as a defender, you have to check. You have to always constantly be watching for him, because at any given time he's going to take the 3 steps forward, going to be even with you, which is on now, and now you're in trouble.
Good play by Sean Johnson covering his near post. Thank you. We are getting the second game. We just got the starting lineups for the second game, so that will be a reminder that we do have a second game at 7:30 right here on this YouTube, Rowdies YouTube, and that is the Philadelphia Union versus the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And it should be a A fine game, just like last week's second game was, when Montreal beat the Rowdies 2-1 with a late goal. Rowdies had a penalty kick saved. Georgie probably wants that one back a little bit. He didn't get all of it, I don't believe, on that PK.
Yeah, wrist stuff would love to have that one back. David Villa on top of the box, goes down, no call. And of course, that being the last game of this 2018 Tampa Bay Rowdies Suncoast Invitational. I can tell you from experience that every single one of those players has enjoyed doing preseason in Florida. I did it as a player in the MLS, and it was always great going back to the snow of Kansas City or New York City. So it was great to come down to beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida, or even Sarasota, Orlando, and do preseason there for at least a month. I know Montreal's been here for about 3 weeks. DC United here last week. Philadelphia Union still in town. Of course, you guys, Tam, have the luxury of play here year-round.
The luxury is not quite as good in July, though, is it, Tim?
No, that's why they don't play games yet.
Yeah, it's very, very humid in July. It does take a while to get used to, but I'll take that over the snow any day.
And your game time is what, about 2 hours after it rains that day?
Yeah.
No rain during the winter if you're watching from elsewhere. Hardly ever rains here during the winter, but during the summer, about 6 out of 7 days, about 4:30 in the afternoon, it comes down for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, let's see it for Raheem Edwards as he gets subbed out. Ball into the box, just a floater. Evan Bush comes out.
And not only did he make the play with his hands, he made sure everybody knew that he was coming out.
Oh yeah, with that knee high.
When you make that call out there, then referee knows that you came out and protects you a little bit. The field players sort of stay away from you, possibly. Maybe not in the late 2-2 game in a regular season, but.
Well, you want to make sure that your center backs know you're coming out, right, Tam? He's behind you, so he knows there's nothing wrong with being assertive, yelling, and even if the whole crowd knows you're coming out.
Yeah, I love to see that from a goalkeeper, being commanding, dominating the box, coming to get the ball. It's such a huge help for the team. You know, it takes a lot of weight off the team, especially if the game's tight. It's a huge help.
Well, right at the 80th minute mark, Suncoast Invitational, Tampa Bay Rowdies looking to come in and play the second game of this doubleheader at 7:30. New York City FC 2, Montreal Impact 2. Impact with a good chance right here on top of the 18.
Another great chance.
Ignacio Piatti is looking to do what he did last week against the Rowdies and put in a late goal. It was the goal winner for them, for Montreal, but always lurking around the 18, always so dangerous.
Made a couple good steals, obviously the one that led directly to the goal. That last cross was a near post cross, and that's very difficult for a goalkeeper, because the goalkeeper has to come to the near post. If it gets dummied and goes to the back post, very difficult to cover that. So those driven balls to the near post are always very dangerous.
New York City FC once again building out of the back and taking care of the ball. I like that, Charlie. Late in the game, you want to make sure that you create out of the back, keep the ball. Therefore, you're going to minimize the other team's possession. And once again, who else? David Villa offsides. Charlie, that's his 4th offside of the game. You play the fine line, and Tam, you and I talked about a forward with a lot of experience playing that fine line between offside and not offside. At some point, you want to stay onside, right? So you can get the ball.
Yeah, the one that really bothered me as a coach was the lazy offside, where the guy doesn't come back. If it's something that you're trying to get an advantage out of, sometimes they're not going to call it. You are going to be a step off, or whatever it happens to be. But those lazy ones really were almost bench worthy.
But let me ask you though, you as a coach right now of a professional team like Patrick Vieira, and you say, well, he's got 2 goals and a yellow card. Do you take him out now because he's not being outsides? You know, it's one of those situations where he's your marquee player, he's your star player. You don't, at any given time he can score. So do you, like, you know, let it slide, or do you take him off?
Are you asking if I would take David Villa off the field?
That's what I'm saying.
No, I would not.
Okay, good. I was hoping you would say that. Well, there's offsides or not.
Well, you may have heard of this player. I was at a coaching school, and they stopped the play, and they said, where's the best pass? And I had a couple places I could have passed the ball, and double covered down at the other end was Nono Baptiste, who played for Fort Lauderdale back in the old days. And I said I would pass it to him, and they said, why? He's not open. And I said, tell me it's a bad pass if you pass it to him. And the same thing with David Villa or Messi or Ronaldo. Go ahead and pass it to them.
Yeah,
they got a chance.
Max Morales from 20 out. Top of the box, gets the ball.
Good pass here.
And got a hold of that one. Hasn't landed. Morales has been very active, playing right underneath. He plays like a true number 10, and of course, always looking to play David Villa on that through ball. That's going to be a good combination once again. 1-2 right on top for New York City FC.
And then you had Rodney Wallace there, who has shown some skill tonight, and also, you know, he can score goals. A very strong Costa Rican national team. These teams have to be deep this year because of the World Cup coming in Russia.
Johnson gets under the ball. Diallo wins it in the back for Montreal.
Tell fatigue is setting in. The pace is a little bit slower.
Yeah, definitely at this stage in the game. 84th minute, 2-2, Montreal Impact, NYCFC. Their last game of preseason for both teams as they get ready for the MLS season that starts next week.
Tim, why is it with strikers that they look like they're really tired when they're trying to play a little defense, but once the ball's on their foot, that they seem like it's the first minute of the game?
That's a good point. That's a good point. They would probably argue they're saving their energy to put the ball in the back of the net, which if they do that, then, you know, I don't mind that at all.
Well, once again, another good chance for NYCFC, and of course,
I don't know if you saw that, but David Villa came over and was smiling as his teammates on there, because he's thinking, look where I got a chance to shoot from again.
Exactly, you're right.
Hey, David Villa gets another go at it from there. Yankel Herrera, you see him in the middle of your screen right there.
And we've seen him use every part of his foot, you know, that one pass that he made with the outside of his foot.
And here's the replay from a little bit of a different angle right here. Herrera was checking to the ball. There's definitely contact.
Herrera made a good move by putting his body in front.
He sold it well.
As a defender, you're going to say, no, he didn't do that.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Victor Cabrera was the Montreal defender. He tried to argue that. Of course, referee not buying it.
Another yellow card. I think he's given a full deck worth out there on the yellows.
Well, once again, Charlie, he's getting ready for the season as well. He's going to pull those yellows.
So, Tam, who do you think is going to take this shot?
Tough one. It's a tough one.
Oh, there's only one in the back there. There's no reason hiding it.
David Villa on the ball, free kick.
He's tried to go under the wall there. He's tried a cheeky little slide under the wall.
Yeah, for those viewers at home, was it, oh, he messed up, he hit the wall? No, he was trying to go under the wall. A lot of the times at the professional level, a lot of the players jump to make themselves bigger, as you know, Tam, and he's trying to slide the ball underneath.
Yeah.
You see players like Messi pulling that off all the time, and it's a cheeky little play, but it works from time to time.
Yeah.
Especially because he scored already going over the wall. So this is a good chance for you to try something different. Great ball in the box.
We're talking to Tam McCandawiri of the Rowdies. Another near post ball that was dangerous. Tam, your thoughts on the wall jumping?
I think it's down to the goalkeeper. I know Matt Pickens didn't used to like the goalie, like the wall jumping. If he did want us to jump, then he would have a signal.
And look how tight that wall is. You know, they're turning. You see the Argentine Ignacio turning right there, but just keeping that tight. You don't want, well, you don't want him, and you know this, you don't want two players coming apart and the ball can go between them, because the goalkeeper's not going to have enough time to react to that. There's the reason why you put the wall. He's got the weak side, the wall's on the strong side. So if the ball goes through, then he's going to be in trouble. He might not get there even if he dives.
For those of you who don't know, you put the wall on the side that is the closest to that post is closest for where the ball is, and then the goalkeeper covers everything else. But if you can put the ball over the top like we've seen David Villa do today, it doesn't help.
Now, when you have players of exceptional ability like David Villa, then the wall, you know, may as well not be there at times.
And actually, David Villa gets substitute out. Makic comes in, number 86 for New York City FC. Asad Makic. And of course, great performance by the captain, David Villa, with 2 goals. And a yellow card, Charlie, let's not forget that.
No, we won't forget that.
That's his second nutmeg. That's nice work.
Yeah.
I think New York have looked a lot better this second half. They've had a lot more energy. They've upped the tempo. They've popped the ball around nicely. I think they're definitely good for their 2 goals.
Well, in the 89th minute of this Tampa Bay Rowdies Suncoast Invitational, Medina on the ball for New York City FC with one of the last few chances. And swinger, left foot into the box.
Not quite the quality of the ball that they needed off of that delivery on the corner kick.
Ball goes all the way back to Johnson. One of the things I like about New York City, Cam, is that they're not afraid to ping the ball back to your keeper and start again, as long as they keep the ball. And that's great to see, especially, of course, at the pro level, a team that likes to keep the ball.
Yeah.
You see a few teams, even at Barcelona or Bayern Munich, do so. As we see the end of the game, New York City 2, Montreal Impact 2. Charlie, your thoughts in the second half?
I thought it was a very entertaining game all the way through, including the second half. Those 3 goals in the first 5-8 minutes, whatever it was, in the second half were great, and a little shake hands, and it was fun, and it was great having Tam McCandawary up here with us as we picked his brain and learned a little bit more about the Rowdies as well. Yeah,
thanks for having me on, guys. I really enjoyed it. A very entertaining game, as you're saying, but it's just the warm-up for the main event. As we've been speaking about, the Rowdies are coming on against the Union at 7:30, so very shortly. So yeah, hopefully we'll have just as an entertaining game as we've seen here with New York and Montreal.
Well, Tammy, it was great to have you up in the booth. We'll wish you the best for the upcoming season. Thanks again for watching the 2018 Suncoast Invitational. Stay tuned. Tampa Bay Rowdies against the Philadelphia Union. Stay with us. We'll be back soon.